Mendelst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel that opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, "I don't know why I tried to do this," and by way of explanation tells her life story. We are in book 2. This is a rewrite and reordering of incidents/scenes from the Ron chapter I read last week. The week before last week, in Do the Wrong Thing, Ava learned that she can draw, was awestruck by her first visit to a punk club, gave Philippe a blowjob, had a bad church experience, and in modern times wondered if her mother has Munchausen syndrome by proxy. This chapter is called Ron. I'm going to rush through this Ron chapter. I've been stuck trying to perfect everything for much too long. I'm driving myself, or is that boring myself, mad? There's going to be a lot of cutting and capsizing of long, dreary passages into short, hopefully still amusing outlines. Oh, I should say before I start getting into this, a lot of it is going to be very similar to last week's. I just felt like, I don't know, so I've reordered things and I guess rewritten and I hopefully tightened things. Ron, Philippe's friend who hangs out in the store, invites me to an evening of folk music. In a room above a bar, a bunch of men and women sit in a circle playing guitars and dulcimers and singing. Everyone is old, at least 35. Ron tells me that Around the Block was designed and decorated by Philippe's ex-girlfriend, who still might be his girlfriend. Elsa is German from West Berlin, not lowly Cologne like my family. She's in art school now, across the country in Westwood. Wow. I think I saw her once at the store. Pretty, blonde, and self-assured, she bounced out as I was coming in, looking like a colorful Marlene Dietrich in a brown corduroy skirt and bright striped socks. She has to be the source of all the signage. Ron says that she and Philippe still get together when she comes home for the holidays. I attack Ron. He responds immediately. He's 36, overweight on antidepressants, a postman. I'm 21, thin, hot, with my whole life ahead of me, apparently. Ron kisses me, says no, and groans, "I can't do this." He does this. Ron's 15-year-old daughter sleeps on the other side of the wall behind the couch where we have sex. We try to be quiet. I love the power I have over Ron. I love that he can't say no. Ron makes me cassettes of obscure bands and albums he thinks everyone should hear. Tom Robinson, for example, and Lou Reed's Berlin, the album with the kids song on it. They're taking children away because they said she was not a good mother. That miserable, rotten slut couldn't turn anyone away. In the background, a child wails, "Mommy, Mommy." That gets me more than anything. I can't listen without crying. Ron makes me spaghetti and shakes the noodles with butter and ground pepper before serving them. Ron is on some pretty heavy medication, the fault of his previous girlfriend, he says. She was 23. In the shower, he fucked her in every orifice. She left him to be with a politician, or became a politician and then left him. She's an MLA now. She likes high heels, which is strange because I don't. We're not alike at all, Jennifer and I. Ron wears wire-rimmed glasses. His nose and lips are thin like John's, my boyfriend from the house on Ash Street, the one who punched me. I never see John anymore, not even around campus. Strange. Want to see Rambo? Ron asks. I laugh and roll my eyes. When's the last time you went to a movie simply for fun, he teases. I stare at him, realizing I haven't been to anything remotely fun since high school, unless you count the Never-Ending Story. Is that the lineup? I'm incredulous. It wraps around the corner from the theater, then all the way around the next block and onto the next. We join it, laughing at our counterculture attendance. Rambo, First Blood. It's awesome. The action, the cheesy love story, the fantasy is unbelievable and over the top. That's what I mean by fantasy. We turn to each other in the theater and laugh. As we leave, Ron puts his arm around me. He's wearing his beat-up motorcycle jacket. The leather is soft against my cheek. Ron's daughter, Persephone, lives with him instead of, he says, her crazy artist mom. Persephone looks just like her dad. She wants to be a ballet dancer, but she's thick, like Ron. How will this work out? How will she become a dancer? I try to imagine a parade of young women closer to your age than your dad's coming through your home and feel guilty. I try not to think about Persephone. Persephone is unsmiling and rigid. One day when I go over, she's cutting material for recital costume. I like scissors, she says. They're sharp. She snaps them together twice and looks up at me. I smile. She doesn't, then does, and the coldness leaves her eyes. Ron gives me a picture of Persephone, which I put in my wallet. I don't have his. A few weeks after seeing Rambo, Ron says I have to see an art house movie, Marianne and Julianne. It's got a German female director and 2 female stars. Pretty cool, eh? He says. We go to Concord to see this movie. Concord is more cultured than Birmingham, Ron says. Ron grew up in Concord. Based on a true story, Marianne and Julianne follows 2 sisters who work for women's rights, one a journalist and one as a radical. The radical wants to leave her son with the journalist, but the journalist refuses, saying her work is important, while her sister's hurts the cause. The son ends up in foster care. Relaxed and at home in the Concord Theater, I look around at illuminated faces, then at Ron. He smiles, puts his arm around me, and pulls me close. I snuggle in, breathe his leather, and go back to the women on screen. Next chapter, Final Summer. I turned my essay in 3 weeks late because for the first time in my school career, I'm not giving the teacher what they want. At the beginning of studies in 17th century literature, I was jumping out of my skin at the thought of Paradise Lost. I couldn't wait to study this literally epic poem. Then, not equal as their sex not equal seemed, for contemplation he in valor formed, for softness she in sweet attractive grace. He for God only, she for God in his fair large front, an eye sublime declared absolute rule, and hyacinth locks round from his parted forelock manly hung, clustering but not beneath his shoulders broad. She as a veil down to the waist her unadorned golden tresses wore, disheveled but in wanton ringlets waved, as the vine curls her tendrils, which implied subjection, but required with gentle sway, and by her yielded by him best received, yielded poise submission. What the fuck? Professor Highcraft couldn't understand why I was angry. That was the time, he said. Everyone viewed women and men like that. Don't take it personally. But I do. I've been betrayed by all of literature and higher learning. I requested an extension. I have to move. I did have to move, but I could have written the essay sooner. I'm paralyzed. What if Professor Highcraft fails me for saying what I think? I always tell professors what they want. I mean, it's not hard because I generally love the stuff I'm learning, but this is a conspiracy against women. And I rejected Highcraft's advances. What if he fails me? Even if he gives me a poor but passing mark on this paper, I'll bomb the exam as usual and fail the course. I can't fail.